Hello everybody, it's your boy Proftrof and we're back again with another video by Gigguk. This is Attack on Titan is incredible now. I gotta be honest, I have not seen Attack on Titan after season 2. I didn't even watch the full season of 2. I've read the manga though. I kinda know what's happening. I don't know if they've changed anything in the anime. And I wasn't a big fan of the longer chapters in the manga, you know, politics and shit. I found myself skipping a decent amount of dialogue because it was boring to me. But there's some crazy shit started happening at the end there. So I'm not sure if I want to go back and watch Attack on Titan. Maybe Gigguk can convince me to watch it now. So let's see it, Gigguk.
Video is sponsored by Bookwalker.
Bookwalker.
I want you to cast your mind back to 2013.
The fuck?
The current generation console war had just begun, Harlem Shake was a thing, and YouTube Rewind was, full of YouTubers. Now, if you were to head towards the anime community, however, what you would have found is...
Getting losers, we're going to humanity destroying.
This was the year Attack on Titan took over, and I don't just mean for the anime fandom. It blasted the shackles of the community to find a wider, vast mainstream appeal, which has never been done before for a single season, excuse me for a second. For a single season of anime. Conventions were flooded with people in a Survey Corps uniform, memes were absolutely inescapable on the internet, and somewhere in between all that, Attack on Titan also aired. I knew something was fucking weird when my co-workers in my office job at the time started offhandedly mentioning Attack on Titan in the same conversation as Game of Thrones. Mostly because people were saying, it's basically like Game of Thrones! For anyone who's
has nothing to do with it. But by the way, y'all noticing how Game of Thrones went from being one of the greatest TV series in the world that we've ever had to, since the last 2-3 seasons, to something that you cannot even recommend to your friends just because of the last couple of seasons. Now, it doesn't change the fact that the first couple were near perfect. But god damn, that show went downhill real quick.
Into anime more recently, it's kind of hard to convey how unprecedented a phenomenon this show was. Then rise in the history of the medium, and the only thing that's come close is the One Punchy Boy. Anime nowadays has become a much more accepted medium, and I honestly think Attack on Titan was what set the ball rolling for that. The franchise had the entire community in the palm of its hand, and all it had to do to continue that hype train was anything. And then it didn't. But after 4 years, it returned with Season 2 and has been going strong since then, with Attack on Titan Season 3, Part 2, Episode 12, Chapter 3, Arsenal Nil having been finished.
Hey, Arsenal is pretty... Hey, listen, Arsenal is pretty used to having zeros.
Immensely popular, but the hype is certainly just a fraction of what it was. Which is a shame, because with this latest season, the series has evolved and changed so much that, as someone who was initially very lukewarm about the series, I think where it is right now, it's shaping up to be one of the greatest anime of the modern age. And I don't use those words lightly. What I'm trying to say is Attack on Titan is pretty great and has turned into something pretty great. And as the series goes on, it gets even more great. So I just wanted to make a video about how great it was. Did I mention it was pretty great? Originally, this was just going to be a short video talking about how good the new season is. Then the more I worked on it, the more I realized I really couldn't do it justice without talking about the entire journey we took to get here. Because every season is so vastly different from each other and yet builds on and adds to the overall experience. There will be spoilers in this video, but I won't be spoiling anything from the latest season because it's my long-winded way of saying you should drop everything because this latest season is absolutely worth it. So buckle up your seatbelts, put your phone on silent, take a break from your JoJo memes because it's gonna be a long one. People who waited all these years without buckling in to read the manga, experiencing all this for the first time now, all I can say is I was right all along, you fuckers! It was worth it!
Listen, I hope that they skipped a lot of the fucking political talks in the anime because, I mean, they must have because people are enjoying it, so let's be fucking honest. Let's all manga readers be honest. That took too fucking long in the manga. That was like 20 chapters of straight up reading and no fucking action. Killed me.
If I can give Season 1 credit for anything, it's that it immediately grabbed your attention, then fucking bear hugged it until you couldn't look in any other direction.
Yes.
I think many people can agree that the first few episodes is one of the best hooks you can find in anime.
Yes.
In contrast to the rest of the season, where you'll find a whole mixed bag of opinions, ranging from this is the greatest series ever to this is an overrated piece of crap.
Graham Savage, massive nut.
To I want Levi to step on me. Says Eren Yeager.
I already did, buddy.
But lacking in a few places, and I know everyone's given their 2 cents on this by now, so I'll try to avoid repeating any common things. Yes, everyone got bored of seeing it everywhere. We all know you're not a real critic unless you complain about the pay. of the series, and I really don't care if you're a special flower who thinks the second opening is better than the first, because it's not.
What? If anyone actually thinks that, yikes. Honestly, I think it's just because of how overlapped and over meme the first opening was. Everyone's forgotten how absolutely amazing it was at first. I mean, do you remember the very first time you heard it? I don't think any opening was able to hype up an anime as much as this opening did, and I think that it was a huge fucking factor in immediately grabbing anyone's attention who initially watched it. And this is coming from someone who normally skips openings. Of course, it's the amount of parties and Attack on Titan OPs goes with everything. Every videos people were gonna get bored of it, but the only reason for that was cause of how amazing it was, and I honestly think it should go down as one of the most iconic openings in all of anime. I don't know why you're still reading this. There's a lot of text for a single frame of this video. You should probably be watching it actually. Fair enough.
So before I get into what
No, first opening is way better. Second opening is great. First opening is better.
What I thought it was doing right the entire time, and what it continues to do to this day. Aside from the obvious spectacle of the amazing action, Isayama was able to craft this really believable world with what felt like a unique premise. I've always loved the world building in Attack on Titan because it never needed huge exposition dumps of dialogue and lore to lend to its credibility that it exists.
Hey, that's always a way to make a series fucking boring. If the lore has to explain the lore, it's boring. Listen, the lore needs to be put into the action, put into the... It needs to be subliminal, you know? You never should be like, hey, I want to explain to you the lore of the world. 10-minute fucking episode where they just explain... No, stop. Stop! Stop. Let us discover it with the characters.
The detail that gave the world so much life and made it so interesting. And I know I'm speaking very broadly here, so let me give you a counterexample.
Okay.
Let's throw all this out the window for a second and talk about Naruto. Naruto is a world with a rich lore that intertwines all the different clans and bloodlines, creating a believable history that you can totally immerse yourself into. But there's one thing that's always bothered me about it. What the fuck is the technology in this world? These ninjas have cameras, computers, satellite dishes, bloody television sets, and they are just randomly there and then not there throughout the series. These are all very small, superficial things that shouldn't affect your overall enjoyment of the franchise, but if you really think about it, it really fucks some of the world's logic and raises way more questions than it should. Like, you have magic ninjas controlling mystical beasts that can level entire cities with a single fart? Cool. I can believe that, no problem. But having a whole room of meditating ninjas singing Kumbaya for chakra communication when wireless transmitters have clearly been used before? What? Radio...
Yeah, but they were communicating with the whole army at the same time, brother. I don't know. I mean, you can try and explain it. I don't really care. Like, this is always... I never really cared about this part of Naruto when I was watching Naruto. I don't find a need to care about it. It's very obscure in the anime. They basically never use these things besides when they wanna explain some ass pool. So
waves and satellite dishes obviously exist.
Holding hands.
Important inventions like radar.
How perverted. Kakashi.
Technology not more widely used in warfare in general. And here you got
what? Technology in warfare? Are you serious? We have people that fucking run at the speed of light and faster, and you want us to use AKs? Come on, brother. These dudes are taking full punches to the face with nothing happening to them, and the punch sends them through 15 walls. I don't think an AK can do that.
But Akatsuki using some high-level communication jutsu for what is basically a Google
Rinnegan. If I wanna... It's nano machines, brother. Stop trying to explain it. Rinnegan.
Hangouts. Christ, guys, stop being so tryhard and just start a fucking Discord server. I'm not saying I want to see ninjas running around with fucking AirPods, but if you're gonna add some of these elements in your fictional world for some kind of aesthetic reason, while it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, and I'm sure some theory can explain it, it just doesn't...
Plus, weren't most of them from like, what they called? The shit episodes that have nothing to do with the main story?
Organic.
Fillers.
Now, this all may sound like nitpicking to you, because it totally is. But the point I'm trying to get at
not
is that in the world of Attack on Titan, everything just makes sense. From the social political structure.
Really? Okay, well, okay.
To the protocols for certain situations, to the wall having a religion, to the sophisticated mechanics of how the ODM gear works.
All right.
Every aspect of this world seems to have been...
I'm not gonna say it. Okay, it makes sense.
Crafted from the ground up. The way it functions and develops seems like a logical product of the initial rules that it set. And as the series goes on and more aspects get explored, you're like, oh shit, yeah, of course that's how things work. I didn't think about that until now. You can tell a lot of thought has been put into even the tiniest details, even if they don't explain everything. Like, I don't need a 5-minute explanation on how they have an invention to get horses up and over the walls, but it's there in the background and it's not exactly something you'd immediately think about, but yeah, of course they'd obviously need one. Sometimes it's the smallest details that can lend to the credibility of your world, and one thing that made Titan such a convincing threat was that it set up its rules, then adhered to them under real-world logic. If you don't have anywhere to grapple onto, you are fucked. If you run out of gas, you are fucked. If you sustain an injury from some random debris, shot a landing, or an ape throwing
You
a
are
fucking
fucked.
horse fastball at you, you are fucked, because of course you are. This isn't the usual anime logic where you have high school kids being flung through 5 walls of pure concrete, and then no one's even remotely surprised when they dig through 4 tons of rubble with only a single scratch, being like,
You thought it was over.
which is something I really liked and has
What the
stayed
fuck is that?
throughout the series. But
Okay.
to get back to why I never held the series in the highest regard, the biggest problem about it was that after everything was said and done, it all felt very superficial. What I mean by that is a lot of the appeal came from shallower elements that were there to maximize impact but not really leave a lasting impression. From the bombastic action to the dramatic shouting to Sauno's tracks blaring in your face at full volume. There was always some kind of twist and turn to keep you watching, even if it relied on cheap shock factor, but it kept force feeding you something every episode, so you'd never get a chance to rest and reflect on it. Cheap thrills took priority over actually taking time to develop these characters, with the possible exception of Jean, Jean, whatever, meaning most of them were just recognizable for a single quirk or were one-note characters introduced for the purpose of being killed off. The developments contributed to constant shocking and hyped moments, but once the initial adrenaline wears off, you'd realize there was not much else there. Like, oh my god, they killed the main character in episode 5! Just kidding, he's actually a Titan, it was a prank. It's just a prank,
It was a
bro.
prank, bro.
Be sure to like and subscribe for more content! What I equate Season 1 to is a roller coaster ride, and I'm not talking about those danky pop-up coasters you find at your local carnival or whatever. I'm talking Nemesis Inferno at Thorpe Park, King the Car at Six Flags, the fucking Attack on Titan ride in Fujiku, Japan. Wait a minute. It was a high-budget
What?
premium thrill ride, but it was a thrill ride nonetheless. Because
That's
of
a
this,
big
when the
brain
show ended,
Titan.
I undoubtedly had a great time watching it, but looking back, I had zero emotional attachment to it. And that's how it was for a long...
Hey, don't worry, you're becoming just like Aaron. Aaron.
And then... If the reception for Season 1 was unbridled hype and excitement, when Season 2 aired, it was much more like, hey guys, Attack on Titan Season 2 is
Fucking
coming
Titans.
out! Woo!
That's his ass clap.
Alright, we can
Bing.
fix this. Can you get me the hype button, please? A lot of this can be attributed to the 4-year gap, but I think another big reason was that it was just vastly different in tone and pacing, causing a lot of people to feel a bit underwhelmed by it in comparison. Despite
that
this,
Potato
however,
Girl?
It may come to a shock to many of you that I actually preferred Attack on Titan Season 2 over Season 1. Or, you know,
Well, Season 2 had the Aaron versus Armored Titan fight. That was a cool fight.
shocking if I didn't already make a video literally called Why I Actually Preferred Attack on Titan Season 2 over Season 1.
Wait, you have that shit?
Season 2 made me infinitely
Damn.
more invested in the franchise than I had ever been before, and the way it was able to make me do this was by stopping the roller coaster, letting you get off the ride, and just explore the theme park at a slower pace. I swear this is where the theme park analogy ends. I just really want to go to Thor Park. It added a lot of these mystery elements, which really enriched my interest in the world and added a layer of tension to it. J.J. Abrams has this great little TED talk where he explains his theory behind the mystery box, where when watching a show or movie, you can always find these mystery boxes where information is fed to you, but just enough is withheld to create a mystery. And it's the withholding of the information that is far more engaging for the viewer, because we invest ourselves to find out what's in the box. And that's exactly what happened here. It constantly gave you these little tidbits and flashback of
Tuna.
conversations that imply that there was something much larger going on in the grand scheme of things, but not giving you enough information for any of it to make sense. And it got you curious and invested to see what was in this mystery box, which in this series was literally what's in the
basement.
there was real tension in the the air because you didn't know what was going on. Who was a Titan? Who was in on it?
True.
Who wasn't? What did this flashback mean? Why is there a talking gorilla? There can't be a talking gorilla because I'm already Winston. And the more you found out, the more questions that were raised. There was a lot more emotions evoked than just shock and awe, and it proved to me that the series could do more than one thing. Also, it gave a good amount of screen time on characters who hardly got any before, so much so that the main trio were barely there in the first half, and one of the most popular characters, Levi, was almost non-existent. Levi? More like Levi, am I right?
No.
Season 2 managed to
Someone take away his hype button.
These characters who you didn't even remember existed in season 1. Like, I remember back when the first season was in the prime of its hype, I actually got spoiled about the reveal of who the Colossal and Armored Titan was. And my actual response back then was, "Ah, for fuck's sake, I can't believe the internet's done this again. This has ruined the entire fucking thing for me. God damn it, I'm so fucking pissed."
Well, they ended up not being too much of a deal. Alright?
Wait, who? Berthold, Reiner, Ymir, and Krista all took the spotlight for a good portion of the season, and I ended up really
fucking
liking
hate these
all of
dudes.
them, which is incredible
Fuck 'em.
because going into this, all I remembered about them was, I'm pretty sure you had 2 lines before. You were a background character, I think. Cheap waifu bait. I don't even think you were in season 1. It's been taking time to establish.
Excuse me, cheap waifu pet? That's fucked up.
I felt they were setting up a story with an actual foundation rather than setting up the next big shocking moment. And that's honestly why I preferred this season. It felt less like a string of moments and more like a narrative that followed a set of characters with their own drives and motivations, with moments that organically resulted from it. Because there were still some great moments,
Ragdolls.
even if they came in a lower quantity. Now, while I can understand that as a standalone season, not everyone will agree that this slow, methodical build-up was more entertaining than the action-packed thrill rides, I don't think anyone can argue about the results that this foundation paved the way for.
まだかな。
Season 2 was where we had some breathing room to really get to know the characters more. Season 3 straight up explored aspects of them we'd never seen before by putting them in really interesting scenarios. Because out of nowhere, the series turns into this political thriller where it's all about scheming, conspiracies, vying for power, and more importantly, some good old human-on-human killing action.
Okay, maybe I should watch the anime. From what I'm getting, you know, this, it doesn't seem like they took so much of a, or somehow they skipped a lot or managed to shove it into smaller parts where it doesn't become annoying as fuck like in the manga it did. For me at least. I don't know how everyone else feels. Can someone that's actually watched read the manga tell me how y'all felt about it? I hated that part.
Humans versus the monstrous
It does not seem that bad.
The big reason for the show's popularity and appeal was the fact that this was a conflict so simple anyone could get behind it.
Yeah,
it was
not that
refreshing
simple.
to see these characters be put in a morally grey situation. Levi and the whole Hanji squad went from these simple badass characters who were really good at fighting titans to decisive cutthroat soldiers who didn't hesitate to get their hands dirty in order to get the job done. And we get to see the young trainees we
Turns out Levi was always like that, huh?
grew up with having to make that same difficult decision of joining them in killing fellow humans or dying. And I just enjoyed seeing them be put in moral dilemmas where they're like, what the fuck? Why are we fighting humans? Because humans are trying to kill us now. But where are the Titans? I thought this show was called Attack on Titan. You can call it Attack on Mikasa's sweet ass with sugar on top if it'll get you to shut the fuck up and kill that bloke over there. I'm paraphrasing here. There wasn't any new revolutionary writing technique on display here. All Isayama did was put his characters in interesting scenarios to see how they would react. And it worked. It really added a layer of complexity when the enemy wasn't just some mindless giant zombie, but a human being acting with their own reasons, meaning the resulting consequences of everyone's actions had far more weight than it ever used to. Once again, we get a swap on the character getting the majority of the focus, as Levi went from having a minute of screen time to being in every episode. Levi, more like Lee-Hi. Okay, that's the last time, I swear to God. And this really cemented the showcase last season that the series really isn't dependent on any one character to carry this show, because they all can. It doesn't matter if some characters had like 10 minutes of screen time before, the series is able to bring any character.
Eren best boy.
to the forefront and make them interesting. Also, the other thing this allowed the season to do was to have outstanding moments that didn't need to rely on action.
Wow.
In fact, the best scenes purely revolved around character decisions, like the phenomenal scene with Historia, aka the waifu formerly known as Krista. So all the scene basically revolves around is whether she should accept her heritage or reject it. Now, I'm not really an animated guy when watching anime. There could be this really hype scene, and in my head, I'm like, yo, goddamn, this is hype as fuck! Look at this shit! But on the outside, I'm like,
What?
cool. So I surprised myself when the waifu
I go crazy for scenes like this. When I watched the last fight of Naruto vs Sasuke, I was jumping up in my room. I almost broke my chair. And yeah, I kicked my dumbbells, which was not a very cool experience, but hey, worth.
smacks the vial out of the hand, I visibly leapt out of my seat and shouted, yes! You fucking go, girl! God, I fucking love this moment so much. And what I loved about it was that, like the rest of the season, Isayama presented a difficult character choice, and you genuinely did not know what they would choose, especially because what she chose to do was the harder choice. By doing this, not only does she have to reject her father and a more cushy life, but also her right to attain the power of essentially a Titan god, meaning humanity will now have to go down an unknown but far more challenging path. So it gives it so much more weight when she chooses not only to reject all that, but fucking do it by judo flipping her dick father, breaking his back, smacking Eren in the head and telling him to stop being such a bloody crybaby, landing the killing blow so the public will have faith in.
Hey, he fucking stopped. He stopped being a crybaby. Eren be scary now.
As a new queen. And then just for good measure, having the balls to punch Levi all in a good day's work. And people say there's a legitimate argument of who is best girl in this show.
You are my queen.
Pure and simple, this is just great writing.
And because it's
that was
still
the point
cool
when
though.
I realized, holy crap, this series might actually be something really special. Hopefully you're getting the idea by now that every arc so far has taken what's been previously established and added something new and built upon that foundation, but that doesn't really happen in the next arc, because it kind of just does everything at once.
Okay, when is the ocean scene? That's pretty much where I've seen the manga to, the ocean scene. I've not seen much after that. I don't know if what I'm missing.
Titan was about Titans. Remember when it was about humanity taking back the walls? Remember when it was about getting to Eren's basement? Well, here you go. Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you finally gonna shut the fuck up? Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2. God, that name never rolls off the tongue no matter how many times I say it. It's a combination of everything the series has built up. It's the action-packed rollercoaster of the first season with the weight of the second, the emotional complexity of the third, and holy fuck, is it an amazing sight to behold. You may not like it, but this is what peak Attack on Titan looks like. It's like the series is going sight to behold. You may not like it, but this is what peak.
Where you at, dickhead, brother?
Attack on Titan looks like.
He's an actual Titan. The fuck?
Of everything it was able to achieve, where the final product is even better than all the individual elements it added. You've still got the amazingly directed action sequences, the epic reveal of the world and the mystery it's built up, really difficult character decisions, consequence to every action, and all this equates to an experience you can rarely find in anime. I really hate how
chill out, one hand boy.
edge of your seat has become, because this is truly edge of your seat stuff. But I don't feel that term does justice to convey just how well it's built up.
I fucking hate that monkey.
That you go into every episode with a mix of fear, excitement, and anticipation, because you genuinely do not know what is going to happen.
Rawr.
You watch with bated breath, knowing not everyone is going to make it out of this. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of who, when, and how many. And now that we've reached a point where you actually care about these characters and it's not fucking two-line Lenny riding to his death, every event, whether that be a small victory in battle or someone's unfortunate demise, has tremendous weight behind it. Side characters no longer feel like side characters. Most of them now you've gotten to know for a decent amount of time with meaningful development, and I'm not talking about something like Arc 1, Eren gets kidnapped. Arc 2, Eren gets kidnapped. Arc 3, Eren gets kidnapped. Arc 4, Eren doesn't get kidnapped. Now that's some pretty good character development right there. You're invested, you're hopeful, you've gone through this long, arduous journey with them, and seeing everyone playing this giant game of Russian roulette every every episode brings the same kind of squeaky bum, gut-wrenching tension as when it's the 90th minute in the World Cup final, it's stoppage time, and your team is one goal away from winning or losing the entire tournament. Except this isn't some live sporting event, it's a pre-made animation. It brings an emotional weight that has never been reached before by the show and is rarely reached by any show. And none of this would have been possible without the way it's constantly evolved and built up upon itself. Essentially, the series itself went on this 26-episode hyperbolic time chamber training arc.
That's a big fat boy.
Leveled up
Jesus.
every aspect to continue its journey stronger than any arc. Put the plot
Looks like you can go from his belly button to China from here. Jesus Christ, look at that shit. Tunnel to the end of the world.
Stronger than ever. So now I hope you understand why I've needed to spend 19 minutes of your
Very
time
much
going through
so.
every season explaining what all the individual seasons have done, and that's because where we are at right now would not be possible without the combined effort of every season. And now that we're at this point, looking back at season 1, there were a lot of elements I wasn't too fond of back then that now I'm glad they did. I'm glad people can change into Titans. I'm glad they didn't just take the wall back straight away. I'm glad they took the time to introduce a female Titan and this mysterious external entity who wants to destroy humanity. I'm glad it didn't just stay on that simple roller coaster and stick to humans versus mindless Titans, because now the story is far more intricate and diverse than anything I had predicted when I first started watching it. After this latest reveal of what's in the basement and the secrets of the world have been unpacked, once again the show has evolved into something entirely new. It doesn't even feel like the same show anymore, and I mean that in a good way. It's resulted in a far more interesting world with a richer history than I ever thought it was going to be, while still sticking to the same themes presented in episode 1.
Spoilers.
Through me realizing this, I've just come to appreciate how rare an enigma this show has become, because it's one that has been fully able to realize its potential till the very end. How many of you have had an anime you like, so you go off to read the source material only to find that the anime barely scratched the surface and the source material reaches heights you can only dream of seeing in the anime? Well, Attack on Titan...
Bruh, you made me really sad. Why did you have to show Berserk?
is that one in a million adaptation. Not just a really good short series that said its piece and ended, but a full epic that we've gone on this long ride with and has been able to hit its final form with no compromise. In the process of making this video, season 4 was announced, which is going to be the final season. We are going to see a conclusion to this story, and if word of mouth of every manga reader I've talked to is true, things are going to get even better, which, considering how things have been set up now, I absolutely believe. So here I am now in 2019, unironically telling you that you should watch Attack on Titan, whether you're a new fan, an old one, or even someone who wasn't too hot on season 1. Because when I say I like Attack on Titan, a lot of people still associate it with that one-dimensional roller coaster season 1 was. And it's just so much more than that now. Believe the hype. Believe the anticipation. Forget what I said about the death of classic anime, because when this ends, if by some miracle it is able to continue to get the same amazing treatment this adaptation has received thus far, this could very much be the anime that defines this generation.
Oi! Oi! Doki Doki.
Guys,
I'm
hope you
sorry.
enjoyed that video. Thank you to Bookwalker for sponsoring me to just be able to talk about Attack on Titan for 20 plus minutes. I really enjoyed making this video. Call me an Attack on Titan fanboy because I just freaking love it now. All the available Attack on Titan volumes are available on their website in ebook form. In fact, you can pick up right where it left off where the anime ended by clicking on the link in the description, which will take you straight to volume 23 onwards if you can't wait till season 4 to come out. Again, if you're a first time user, use coupon code Gigguk for $5 off. Anyway, that's it from me though. I hope you all have a wonderful day, get on the Attack on Titan hype train, and I'll see you all next time.
Okay. Maybe Attack on Titan recap everything up to the final season. Okay. Maybe I have to get back into Attack on Titan and actually see the anime. Anyone that's actually seen it, did it end? I know it was supposed to end soon. Did they finish it? Was it good? Should I go back? Should I watch it? Let me know in the comments. Quick thank you to everyone that supported the channel. Pedro Martinez, Camasco Unit, Rob Berry, Swastatic, Fewest Chicken 53, Senior Hilter, Lemon and Moon, Aikma, Dasher, Ronick, Nada James Bizonet, Ryuga Hideki 25, Michael Museo, Nikola Georgiev, Shari. Thank you all for the support. We'll be playing some DMC 5 today. I've never played that game, so I'm quite curious to see if it's gonna be good. Everyone says it's amazing, so probably it's gonna be good. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. Bye bye.